So welcome to the pendulum effect. This is kind of a cool experiment that I remember first reading when I was 9 or 10 in a science book. And since then I've talked to other people who have done this in science class and at least one person who has had it as part of their hypnosis class. So I think it's kind of a cool effect to learn from. So for this experiment, you will need a pendulum. I have seen people do it with pocket watches, which are kind of pendulums before. For your first few times, I recommend not using that. I recommend maybe having something that you make yourself, like a string with a metal nut on the end. Sometimes people will use a piece of yarn. Sometimes people will use one of those little metal flat disc with a little hole in the middle. But regardless what you do, go ahead and make a little pendulum for yourself. If you need some time, you can pause this recording and I'll wait. Okay, so I assume that you have unpaused this recording or that you had your pendulum already. Either way, good job. All right, so what we're going to do is I want you to get over a flat surface in a place where you can sit comfortably. A place where you can sit comfortably and kind of extend your arm over that flat surface. Okay. So when you're there, go ahead and pick up your pendulum if you haven't already, and just kind of dangle it over that flat surface. Dangle it from your thumb and your pointer finger, just kind of dangle it down. Good. Take a nice deep breath in and out. And as you do that, you can begin to focus on the end of that pendulum, on the swingy part. And as you do, I want you to hold your arm still, kind of consciously holding your arm still, but imagining that pendulum is starting to go back and forth, just kind of swinging. Imagine that pendulum is about to swing, or is going to swing back and forth, back and forth. I know when I do this, sometimes I'll will the pendulum with my mind, like I'm willing it to go back and forth, back and forth. Or I'll imagine the swinging motion, kind of letting my eyes follow that swinging motion. Whatever you need to do, just let yourself vividly imagine this. Imagine the pendulum going back and forth, back and forth. Good. And hopefully what's happening now is you're actually seeing that pendulum going back and forth, even if just a little bit. Even though you don't feel like you're doing anything. You can feel like you're holding your arm pretty still. Not fighting anything, not forcing anything, just letting your arm be still. But still, as you focus on that pendulum and you imagine it going back and forth, for a lot of people, it will. This is something called an ideomotor movement. It's an unconscious movement. And we talk about it a lot in hypnosis because a lot of times this is part of what hypnosis is. It's an imagined event or imagined circumstances that have real consequences. So with this, as long as you hold on to the idea of the pendulum swinging back and forth, for many people, it will. If yours isn't, that's okay. You can keep trying. You might want to try a different kind of pendulum, maybe a longer string or shorter string, probably a longer string. This might be a skill that you can improve on over time. I would imagine it would be if you wanted to. But yeah, if you have your pendulum swinging back and forth, see if you can swing it the opposite way. So again, you're not going to consciously swing it. You're just going to kind of will it to go the opposite way. So if it was going left to right, it will go front to back. If it was going front to back, kind of will it into going left to right, or maybe diagonal. Just willing it to swing another way from the way it was swinging. Again, don't fight it, don't force it. Just feel what it would be like if it were, and know what that would look like. And maybe even mentally will it to happen. Let your will push it. Back and forth and back, in whatever direction that you're mentally pushing it now. You can experience what that might be like to let that happen. I have a plane flying overhead in my apartment, but that's okay because you're not hypnotized. You certainly don't feel hypnotized, so you can just observe this. That's what's nice about doing these recordings. Don't have to be as conscious of the sound quality. Okay, so when you were able to have that, hopefully, something else that can be fun is to try and move it around and around. So still holding it out. You can shake your arm for a second if you need to go to rest, but holding the pendulum out and then imagining it going in a circle. So again, holding it still, kind of consciously keeping your hands still, but breathing in and out and imagining that pendulum becomes a circle, really focusing your eyes on it, and really imagining in your mind's eye what it would look like if it were going in a circle around and round and round. I know for myself, sometimes I'll even imagine a really fast merry-go-round going round and round and round. And I'll see if I can make it go around faster and then slower. Maybe I can make it go around the other direction from what it was doing before. Again, feeling how neat this might be to be able to make this pendulum go in a circle. And if this is working for you well, great. If it's not, again, this might be something where you might need a little bit of a different pendulum, or you might need a little bit more practice. Either is perfectly fine, but if this is working for you, again, this is a nice demonstration of your unconscious and the way that you can react to some suggestions without even really knowing that you're reacting to them at first, but not really feeling like you're reacting to them, but action is happening. That action can feel like it's happening kind of on its own, and that can be really neat. Very good. Okay, one last thing. So, and again, if you want to shake off your arm, that's fine. So putting your hand back out, if you need to put it back out, and imagining the pendulum again and having it swing left to right like a pocket watch. So letting yourself focus down in on the pendulum, breathe in and out, and imagining it swing like a pocket watch. And if it does or doesn't, it doesn't matter, but imagining left to right, right to left, letting yourself just focus visually and mentally on that swing, left to right, right to left. Swinging back and forth, over and over. Again, maybe willing that swing. I know sometimes once that swing starts happening, it just continues to happen, just like an object in motion stays in motion, and that's perfectly fine. Very good. Okay. One that's going back and forth, or at least when you have a good imagination of that going back and forth, with your arms still held out, I want you to close your eyes. I want you to imagine that pendulum is a pocket watch. Instead of swinging back and forth from your arm, imagine it swinging back and forth in front of your eyes. And of course, if someone were holding a pocket watch over your eyes, they would hold it at just a slightly higher angle, so you had to strain your eyes up just a little bit to see it. So imagine that you're watching that, going back and forth, forth and back, letting your eyes follow. Even in those closed eyelids, you can imagine that going back and forth, forth and back. You know how people respond to pocket watches. You might start to feel sleepy. You might start to feel relaxed. You might start to feel dozed. You might start to feel really focused. And knowing we've been doing hypnosis and hypnotic things for a few minutes, that realization can help you just begin to feel even more relaxed, even more comfortable, letting yourself know just how good your imagination can be here as you watch that pocket watch back to forth, forth to back, at whatever pace is right for you now. You know, in a moment, I'm going to go ahead and actually touch your forehead and say sleep. And when I touch your forehead and say sleep, you can just let yourself totally relax, knowing you don't have to watch the pocket watch anymore. You don't have to hold up your arm anymore. You can just let all your muscles go in a few moments. Not yet. When I touch your forehead Or you can imagine me touching your forehead and saying sleep. And you can just let everything go at that point. And I'll do that when I count to 3. So right now, still imagining watching that pocket watch back and forth and back. Very good. So 1, watching and waiting. 2, just anticipating. And 3, sleep. And imagine my fingers going on your forehead, and when they touch your forehead, you can just collapse. You can just let your muscles go, letting your arm go, letting your head go, letting everything just slump comfortably, letting yourself be in a very comfortable, relaxed position, not having to hold anything up anymore, just relaxed and comfortable and calm. And just listening to the sound of my voice, knowing that all you have to do right now is listen and relax, and listen. And letting every deep breath just continue that sense of comfort and calm and listening. Knowing there's nothing that you need to do, nothing you need to think. No one needs you right now. All you need to do right now is just relax. Take this space to feel good and calm and relaxed. And while you're here, you can even send yourself deeper in whatever way works best for you. For some people, that's going to be counting backwards from 10 to 1, letting every number just let them feel deeper and calmer and more comfortable. For some people, that's going to be imagining themselves in a beautiful place, maybe watching the waves from the beach, giving themselves a moment in a place that's comfortable and calm. For some people, it will be physical, just letting themselves kind of examine their body from bottom to top and see if they can let go of any more tension and just letting that physical relaxation take them deeper into trance. Whatever you choose, I'm going to give you a moment to take as long as you need to do that. Now. That's good. Taking a moment to take as long as you need, just a moment to take as long as you need. Okay. And from there, if you'd like, you can kind of notice how this feels to be calm and peaceful. Kind of gather up any good feelings that you have here in trance. If there's any peace, calm, comfort that you'd like to take back with you. And knowing, if you'd like, you can take back any positive emotion that you've experienced here back into your waking self and the rest of the day. And when you've observed and noted those things, I'm going to count you back up out of trance into a more normal state of awareness at the count of 5. So we'll go ahead and count up from 1, 2, feeling energy rush up into your body bit by bit. 3, feeling yourself move around a little bit. 4, stretching, feeling really good, almost all the way back. And 5, wide awake, open your eyes. And thank you so much for listening.